Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Monday so far. So, I'm going to ask a spitball question. Why is it that there are so many of us that are trying to change the world and go into a new evolution period when we haven't even changed the dynamic that's been perpetrated for the last 50 years? So what about that? Right? We have all these apps and we have all these things that are trying to make people better and trying to do things better and try to live better and make more money and all of this and that, right? But the question that I have and a concern that I have is, what about making things better in terms of erasing the hate, the bigotry, right? Like, we all learned that back in the 1950s there was this huge dynamic that came out where the feminist movement came out, right? And then in the 60s there was this huge drug thing, right? And I guess let me back up for a second. The whole feminist thing, back in the 50s, women didn't have to work, right? The guys went to work and did all the work, and the women did the house cleaning and this and that and everything else, right? Well, that dynamic is dead. No more. Because women have been granted, if you will, equal opportunity, right? They're allowed to go out and work. They're allowed to own businesses. They're allowed to become CEOs. They're allowed to become whatever, right? Equal opportunity, and rightfully so. But we still haven't done much about the mental health problem. We still haven't done much about encouraging people to do better and be better in terms of right here and in here, right? We still have people that are still acting in the ways that their grandparents did and their parents did and this and that, instead of finding a way to navigate that big minefield, right? Generational stuff, right? Because when I was a kid, right, even though I didn't have parents to wipe my nose and to wipe my butt for me and to teach me the ways of life, and after about the age of 11, I had the state that was wiping my nose, right? And I had guardians and conservators that were doing that for me. But I still went about life. I still treated people as they deserved to be treated. Right? That was a never ending thing. But we still have people out here that are still performing heinous crimes. We still have people that are thinking that the ways of their parents are how we should be moving forward. Right? We still haven't found a way to do things for ourselves. We still are encouraged to live by how our parents taught us and how our grandparents taught us. But if you look around us in society, right, there's still a lot of things that need to be addressed. There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. There's still a lot of things that need to be like a pimple and popped, right? So why is it that we are trying to move the world forward but the future, but the past is still presenting itself. We're still walking down the roads of the past. We're still encouraging things of the past. We're still allowing things of the past to dictate our lives moving forward. Now, a lot of that is associated with trauma. A lot of that is associated with the things that we have been conditioned to believe and the things that we have been conditioned to think and the ways that we've been conditioned to think and the ways that we've been conditioned to live and this and that and everything else. Now, the internet, in its infinite wisdom, right? the internet, in its infinite wisdom, will give us techniques and give us ways and show us the roads possible to do all that. But yet, people individually, right? All of you out there, right? You're not dealing with your childhood traumas. You're not figuring out ways that you can be a better person, right? Through your behaviors, your habits, your routines, right? Like, you're not learning how to be better people. And so we're trying to take the world forward, but we're still kind of like standing still from what happened 70 years ago. Right? Now, the last few years, I've been focusing on a lot of things within myself and trying to heal and do better and get rid of nasty habits and find ways to navigate and become a better person. And that doesn't mean that I've found ways to make millions of dollars. Right? That doesn't mean that I've found ways to become more greedy and more arrogant and more cocky and all of that. Right? I've found ways to cleanse the childhood traumas and all of this stuff that has been going on in my life. That means getting rid of people, places, and things that no longer resonate with me. That means going deep and figuring out what direction I need to go in my life in order to make my life more meaningful. Right? Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to look at things from my past and bring that into my future. Now, I'm going to reflect and I'm going to grow off the things that happened in my past so that I can be a more formulated and fundamentally sound human being. Now, I'm still going to treat people with respect, and I'm still going to give people their due, right? But we as people, instead of trying to figure out ways that we can move the world forward, maybe we should make peace with the past first. Maybe we should figure out the past so the future isn't a resignation or isn't a remake of what the past has showed us. Right? Just a question. Because I'm really starting to notice that out here. Really starting to notice that out here. That there's so many of us that are still like hanging on to past instead of dealing with it, overcoming it, and then moving on to the future. Because there's still so many things that we haven't dealt with that have been formulated from past decades. And we're slowly seeing them in today's world. Now, just a thought, just a question. But I hope we're all doing well. I love you guys. Until next time.